And hello, everyone. Welcome back to FPL in the Trenches. Happy New Year once again. This is your co-host, Scott. Along with me is BeerMe Jesus. How are you today, BeerMe?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Doing pretty good. I can categorically say I feel much more upbeat and awake compared to the last, couple episodes, couple podcasts, because as much as I just said before recording that it's the first full week of work that I've had without a day off since like the end of November, just Christmas and stuff. We've been so busy with stuff for the FPL and top of the card that it feels like, okay, we're good. We're kind of back on track here. It feels like we've got some breathing room again. So yeah, I'm kind of like, yeah, let's go. It's a fun time. It's
Right.
a fun time, fun season and stuff. We also did just record Top of the Card podcast last night, so I'll promote that right now before we do our own. Top of the Card Pod is our wrestling podcast with 5 of us. We talk about wrestling news, talked about the last 3 weeks, and pretty much everything up until Brody King debuting. That's how recent it was. That should be up this weekend. Check that out, Top of the Card Pod, over on Twitter, as well as wherever you get your podcasts on Spotify and all that. But this show, this is the FPL. This is the Frontline Prediction League, Frontline League on Twitter. Of course, like, favorite, and subscribe to this channel and these videos. I'm going to be like, oh, it helps us out. It doesn't. It's just good to do. If you like it, show us the support. It helps us out in the sense that we know that there's engagement. We know that we're doing it anyway. But it's good to know that this is hitting and people like it. And I mean, we were runner-up in the year afterwards, the medal ceremony, so it's pretty good. But this week we have a lot less to talk about, considering that we've got the Hard to Kill results. And then, we're looking toward the Royal Rumble. That's about it. So Hard to Kill was a house show, the first house show of 2022, as we enter in our second year of the FPL, and it's Impact. And Impact is a house show, just like AEW, just like Ring of Honor, which is coming back. We've got a confirmed date of April 1st. These are our house shows, and of course the main shows are WWE and NXT. No longer takeovers, they're just whatever they end up being called, and we go from there. Just to get it out there, because we got a lot of new people joining up. Hello, everybody. Welcome. It is awesome having new people signing up over the Christmas time frame. All you new guys, if you skip a house show like Hard to Kill or the AEW ones, Double or Nothings or Rebellions or Supercards, it's not going to really hit on your stats, because we understand that people like in England don't really get Ring of Honor. It's somewhat a hard product for some people to watch. Impact is a bit different. It's on Access at 10 p.m. on Thursdays. It's just some people don't quite get invested in it, some people don't quite follow it, and AEW had its own stuff. It is closer to the majors than the rest, but everybody kind of knows the WWE stuff and the NXT stuff, so that's the barometer, and everything else goes through. We've got our main stuff and then other to fill out, and that's what Hard to Kill was. Hard to Kill really helped fill out a lot of stories, especially considering the future coming up, and we'll talk about that once we're done here. But Hard to Kill, BeerMe, I'll just ask it right out of the gate. Did you lose by a point?
No, matter of fact, I won by 1 point.
There it is. Well, let's dive on in then. We had the main event. The people in our Discord were calling this a McKennedy, because it's Alexander McKennedy and James Costner, the FPL American and World Champions, going to a no contest in the main event. Another no contest for McKennedy, but I mean, yet again, the world champion doesn't win this, and that's not a knock on Costner. We've had world title versus secondary title matches for the longest time, and I don't know if the world champion has ever won one of those back in the JRPL or here in the FPL. So it's just not meant to be, it seems like. And the one time we had a tag match with 2 singles champions versus the team lost the match they should have won. So it's always up in the air, but McKennedy didn't lose either. McKennedy did what McKennedy does. And that's not a knock. It's kind of funny how it went to a draw again. What's funny is my favorite thing about this was there was kind of a note from them wanting it to be clean. It's 2 bad guys, 2 heels, leaders of 2 factions, but there's no animosity between them. So it's like an honor among thieves thing. So that was a fun challenge to write a clean match with 2 heels. And I had a lot of fun with that. I hope the guys liked it. And that was a good challenge, because the last time I did it was Costner and Smooth Rock. And they were one-upping each other with all the cheating. And it's like, okay, well, this is going to be a bit different, because McKennedy fought clean, which is interesting considering he's the American champ. Hardcore stuff. So, what were you thinking on this one, BeerMe? Because you said Costner, right? Or McKennedy?
Yeah.
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 I think we went with
Costner's
the world champion
fine.
should win that, is what we were thinking, because like he's going to buck that trend. I think that's what we were talking about. So, but no, we have no contest. But that's fine. Like I said, this doesn't count against like the ratings as far as for standings and stuff. And these are the champions anyway. There's no title implications there. But there's been talk about McKennedy saying he wants to go after the world title, but not give up the American. And Costner's like, all right, fight me. Well, he wouldn't have won the belt if that was it, right? It's we would have if it was winner take all. No one took anything, so yeah, it's rather interesting to see how that played out. It was pretty fun. Speaking of Smooth Rock, though, he also had another non-title match 2 in a row. He lost this one to your boy Bastion. Bastion beat Smooth Rock 28-22, and for the record, Costner McKennedy was 26-26. So Bastion got the win. Rather happy about that to see him kind of avenge things, I presume.
Yeah.
Smooth Rock. Again, that doesn't hurt him, but it definitely gives bragging rights in universe, as it were, for Bastion to say, hey, I beat the champ. This thing I do all the time. So you can clamor for a match and work your way up. And I mean, Bastion truly doesn't need to really work his way up much because he is top tier stuff. But, you got to prove that you're in the division and go for it. So I don't think he's ever had a Watson Rules match. He'd need to have that first or whatnot, but he's pretty much in the world title picture. He wants that belt back, clearly. And everybody's obviously got their eyes on the Rumble. More on that in a bit. But speaking of Watson Rules, BeerMe, I had a Watson Rules match, and it was a tag match. It was me and Red versus Dakota Alfine, Ralantando, and Kier 1. And we won, 54-39. Now, I don't know if that score's accurate because I know the bonuses don't count. I remember my math was off, but I think we got it because we did really good. Red and I, this is one of the few times in all of my tag teaming where I actually had pretty well the same picks as my partner because I like to spread it just in case. Bit of a strategy where not all your eggs are in one basket and you could end up losing because you both got it wrong. It's split it here and there, or split the points even, so you don't lose as much. It's a gamble, and it's been working so far for Red and I. We're pretty happy about that. And Watson Rules, it's fun. It's fun. And I'll take all the credit, along with Red. We beat Ralantando in a Watson Rules match. To me, that's huge, considering how long he was Canadian champion with those matches. So that's pretty fun. I'm pretty happy about that. Also, Kier 1 gave us a blender.
Did.
Got a blender chant. That was... I'll be honest, that was a bit of a reach character-wise for me to write that in. He loved it. So, there you go. And we'll see what happens with gifts going forward. It could be a fun thing to lead up to the wedding storyline. So, that's just a happy accident of a thing, and there we go. We're on our way. So, it's fun in wrestling, right? You got to have fun with it. CT didn't have fun. I mean, he won, but he had an Iron Man match with Rate Russell 6-4, and he won. You can call that as fun as you want. It's an Iron Man match with CT and Rate. Fun to watch, but those guys are brutal. So,
right.
But we kind of called it. We kind of figured CT would get that win, right? He is looking to avenge his, not avenge, but almost get revenge on his Shrunk Busters for failing him. And anybody in his path is in danger. So, very interesting to see who. I mean, it's not going to be a surprise who's next, but it's just how are they going to survive it, I guess, is the way to put it. We got a non-title match. This one, you had a hard time picking this one, BeerMe. I remember this. La Familia, Detrick Cyrus, and the Alpha Dog, the Continental Tag Team Champions, defeated the Strays, Mark Harper and Supreme Rock, the losing pair from day one. So, even if they had advanced, they would have lost it here. Not that this was a title match, but they did lose this one. La Familia just has to complete the set and beat the other set of Strays to retain the belts and get through, presumably, the Rumble. We'll get there as we go. That's likely the scenario. But we'll have that confirmed. They are the number one contenders. So, but again, we kind of figured that was it, right? We didn't bet against the Strays on this one. It's only been a week, and I already forget. Who do you pick on that one?
Man, I can't. I think I picked La Familia.
I think so too. I think we finally backed La Familia. Don't want to say rightfully, but they are the tag team champions. So it goes without saying.
Yeah.
The Strays have been coming close, but La Familia, I mean, they're the champions for a reason, so yeah. But it's interesting, with the Strays defeating the Creatures, with La Familia defeating the Creatures, and then the Strays decimating the Creatures, kind of preventing them from getting back into contention and taking that spot. So that damage control that they've done has elevated them into a bit of a void by default. Not that they're not worthy of it, but eliminating the simple creatures goes a long way. But
Right.
next up, we have the sadness that Jason Blades lost his hardcore match to Broken Nerd, which we were not surprised that he could win that. But I know we were all kind of pulling for Jace to pull this one off. I love that he has these matches no matter what. Like that was my character for a while. It doesn't matter who I'm facing. I will fight someone in every event I can, and this is how I'm going to do it. Win, lose, or draw, it's still a thing. And if anyone has been able to kind of survive losses without much of a stumble, it's been Jace. Because it's always going to think, like, who's his next hardcore match? Who's his next Make America Violent Again match, right? So
Right.
he'll be fine. But Broken Nerd, that's good match. That's a good win. That's what you want to see, right? That's important. Also important, Chef Urban and RGX, they met Kennedy. They went to a no contest. And RGX looking at world titles. That's Urban looking at the Canadian. These are two perennial kind of contenders. And hell, let's keep going. Bane the Bissa, who's on a roll, and Josh Dionio, who is the Rumble contender for the World Championship, also went to a no contest. Here's the best part. They all scored 22-22.
So wow.
All four of these guys, 22-22. And
That's impressive.
that's wild, right? Like, it just shows, like, the pecking order is pretty even with these guys who are established. Like, JD is definitely established in that top tier, knocking on that door. And he's got people nipping at his heels like Bane the Bissa, and they're even. And then Urban's been doing this rise and just took out a tournament that he wasn't even in and elevated through with RGX, who's constantly bashing down to get this through. And they're dead even. And they're all dead even. So, yeah, that's perfect with a Rumble coming up, isn't it? It's interesting with that. I say that a lot, but I really like how that's going. Here's the best part. The next match, the GMSG defeating Dion Blade by a point. They both would have won against all four of those guys. 27-26. So Dion Blade did very good. GMSG got that win by a point. It's always sketchy on a 7-6 match impact card where you never know what could happen. Got that win. Got that little bit of revenge for Survivor Series with the team eliminations there. Every win matters. Dion Blade, same as the other I was talking about. He's there night in, night out, and starting strong. Like a 1 point loss to GMSG on Impact. Like I said, it's Impact. It's not really going to hurt you in the standings, but only by a point, and it's a high point as well. That's good. That's good. He didn't quite get it done. No, I know that. I've been there a lot, but it's good. It's good showing. Yeah. Keep doing it. Keep doing it. Next up, BeerMe. You're gonna be happy with this one. The face of the year, Luke Gray, defeated the heel of the year, Sebastian Escobar.
He did.
31-27. What's your feelings on this one? I know you had some stakes kind of on this. Like you were very anticipatory of it.
I was very anticipatory of it.
It's the wrong word entirely, but everybody knows what I meant by it.
Yeah.
I'd like that you double down on that. Thank you.
Yeah. But, I'm happy for Luke, and him and Escobar are now 1-1, so they'll have to have another one down the road.
Yep. It's just those natural feuds and natural kind of rivalries that you get just by having this stuff happen. Like, I'll say it again, the Rumble match coming up, the main event, is the biggest rematch we've got. It's a massive rematch. Like, it's a Mania rematch for the world title now. It's the things that you just kind of happen to have happen are awesome. And these two now, heel of the year and face of the year, they're 1-1. I mean, clearly we got to do it again, right? Like, that's got to happen. So, is it right away? Is that the priority? I don't know. What Luke Gray wants that Canadian title bad, so he's going for that. And Escobar, I mean, this close to the World Championship, this is top-tier stuff. I like it. I like it a lot. I like seeing what's happening here. Speaking of elevating and what just happens to happen, you know what? I got info on how to pronounce this name, and I forgot to write it down. I forgot to keep it handy. Eoin the Extraordinary. It is not pronounced that way. I will get that for next time. There was a few people I had that wrong for a while, and I'm sure they'll correct me, and I apologize in advance. Defeated Casey Warden and Danny the Light Jordison in Ultimate X. You'll notice there was a fourth competitor in that. They didn't show, so they got pulled. And we didn't want to replace anybody because it's a ladder match style, and there's no way to have someone else's picks really work for that because you're predicting the order of matches correct. And that's where your points are to make sure you get it. So it stayed as a three man. And the thing with that too is it was on the pre-show, so it's a pre-show on Impact. That's fine. There wasn't really any stakes for this aside from someone's got to elevate. It was Impact. We had our first Ultimate X, so the extraordinary got it, and that's no one can take away the fact that that person who's been here for like 3 shows just won the first ever Ultimate X. That's cool. That's good. I love it. That's the fun stuff. That's really cool. Speaking of triple threats, we had a first triple threat situation here because we looked. When we get to the lower part of the card, we try to figure out who hasn't had triple threat, who's had some singles, and everybody had triple threats except for these guys. So we had Ash, Payne, and CJ Hawk. Now you might be thinking, Ash versus Payne, that's the WrestleMania main event. Sure is. And there's the rematch, these two with CJ Hawk, Mr. Money in the Bank, who hasn't cashed in. I've even teased him for a while, but he didn't cash in. These 3 went at it, and Ash got the win. And it's just the circumstantial happenstance of where we are with that match being the one to make sure that we didn't have like Surfdog or Ryder or like Pierce or Mad Elite in another triple threat. Right? We wanted to space those out, and it became a big match with the 2 guys who fought for the world title contention back at Mania and the current kind of perennial number 1 contender with Money in the Bank. So it was fun. Shame Hawk didn't win because that would have been like a cool way to be like, I can beat the champ. I show you right now, but I digress.
Definitely.
Mm-hmm. Now, Surfdog did defeat the Midnight Rider. Not happy about that. I'll have to do a promo because he Street Dog stomped him on the apron. And the steel steps. So Lee got carded out. Continuing what he does, Surfdog and the Strays trying to cause as much carnage as they can. Targeted, random, it's a bit of everything, so yeah, there'll be repercussions. You don't take out Lee without me getting involved, so there'll probably be a match somewhere in there. We'll get there. The Rumble probably. I mean, we'll get there, but yeah, we'll have to have words. There'll be something going on with that, I'm sure. But he won, and Surfdog, he keeps winning. And Lee, he did have a bit of a stumble there, quite literally in the ring. He kind of fell over a bit, but we'll see what happens with him. We look forward to Lee being back soon. Next, we have kind of the bottom stuff, and forgive me, you're in here, but it was the pre-show stuff. It is Roman Pierce defeating Mad Elite Titan, 25-21. Good win for Pierce. Mad Elite has been on a bit of a run, so Roman getting that win definitely is good. We have an in-joke match, if you know your history of the JRPL and who's who. BeerMe Jesus defeating the Arbiter. BeerMe finally found the solution to his losing by a point situation. Get it? And won by a point. Oh, okay, fine. Arbiter and BeerMe used to be tag champs back way before, different character, fine. But yeah, so it just happened to be like, well, what about these two? And it honestly was a situation of kind of where you are in the standings. Like Arbiter's here, moving his way up, trying to get with DMI, and BeerMe, you have fallen because you had like 0-6 almost, except for 1 win. It was like, shit, he's doing real bad. But it's by a point. It's not that bad. What if they face? You won by a point. God damn it. So how's it feel to win?
Feels good. Feels good to be back. Even if it is by 1 point. I can't get away from this 1 point match. It's insane. Well,
especially they threw out a match. So that potentially would have been something else too, right? Like,
yep.
That could have been points you got. It wouldn't have been a point. Yeah.
Right.
Keeping through, we got CM Carlito defeating Matt Zion, 29-26. 29 is a very high score. One of the higher ones we've seen here. I think it might be the highest, actually, now that I think about it. I'm going to scroll back up. Surfdog got 29 as well. Luke Ray got 31. Jeez. God, okay. Okay, when you look at the combined scores for the tag teams, 58-52, so you're looking at some 25s in there, so nope, no 30s. Bastion with the 28. Of course, Bastion did super good. Who am I kidding? And the main event guys got 26 each. Continuing through, Angela Grace defeated Cam 25-21. Victoria Fiore defeated 3J Platinum 22-14. Monkey Bong beat JJ Rocky by the BeerMe special of 1 point, 27-26. Yeah, sorry, I had to. That was on the cuff. And BJH Bowman beat Buckend 5 22-17, and Wookie beat Papa Snooch 23-7. Sometimes you get a low score too. But yeah, we got newcomers. We got BJH Bowman. We've got where's the achievements here? I thought we had one for that. I guess he's like match 2. But yeah, we've got achievements for Cam and Matt Zion with their 25th appearance. And again, some of the first timers, it'll be a while before you get there because it took 25 shows to complete the year. So that achievement, you got a year ahead of you to get that. You're on your way. Ian won the first match. Again, I'm saying it wrong. Forgive me. I think it's Ian actually, but we'll see. Monkey Bong won his 10th. And that's awesome because Monkey Bong originally was just going to be Hindlemania, and then that's it. But he's like, I'm having fun. I want to stay. Here we are. It's great. Ash and the Extraordinary, so don't say the name wrong, won triple threats. Broken Nerd won a hardcore match. Wow, he hadn't won a hardcore match yet. CT won an Iron Man. Red and I got Watson Rules, and Bastion got a total of 100 points in matches. So when you do your picks, like I said, these 27, 26, I probably should say 1,000 because there's a comma in a weird spot. So, because I mean, like 3 matches and you get a 27 3 times, you're almost there. Yeah, we probably goofed that. But anyway, the results are here. Please, go in here. If you're watching this video, go down in the description, find the Discord link, go into that, go into Discord, and go over to the results and read it. Because CT, Red, and I put a lot of work in these. I say it the same way every time, but we do a lot of work on this. Sometimes we have stuff written in advance, ready for some endings. We get inspired by the show and do stuff. I've literally written stuff in matches while watching the pay-per-view, but like, I'm stealing that. It's become a running joke of like, who am I going to have do that move? Like, it's, yeah. And it's awesome. Please go check this stuff out, because also in here there's stuff that I don't always cover. Little notes. I don't want to give everything away. I want you to read this and have fun with it, to see the stuff that happens. There's moments in between about people joining factions, people leaving factions, injuries, promos, etc. So please check that stuff out. We really appreciate it. We do it because it's fun, but it's also for you guys, because it's the storylines that you give us that we want to put out there. So, and speaking of BeerMe, speaking of storylines, next up is the Rumble. This one I'm super hyped for, because the Rumble is what we debuted with last year on, I think it was the 31st of January. That was a very, not hard match to write, but it took me days to write that, quite literally. And the way the Rumble used to be back in the JRPL was, here's like the final 5, or the final 10, or the final 10 minutes, and then the full write-up would come a couple weeks later. I was a crazy person and tried to write it and get it done, and I did, because we knew who was in, and we knew the order, and then we just needed the elimination, so I kind of spaced stuff out and then started seeding it in to peel back that curtain a bit. I'll tell you right now, we're going to do a draw next week, but we'll talk about that in a second. We're going to look at the Rumble here first and then go into that. So the Rumble itself, we have, again, the biggest rematch in FPL history. Let's get that graphic on the screen here. Yeah, there it is. It is the FPL World Champion, James Costner, versus Josh Dionio. A rematch from WrestleMania, 1-on-1. And wouldn't surprise me if that was the main event over the Rumble itself. We might be changing the order here. Who knows? Remains to be seen. We're not sure, because maybe the Rumble winner happens, then comes out and talks to the champ, or maybe the champ comes out. Who knows? It depends on the storyline. It's always some fun stuff. So that's coming. We do also have the FPL Canadian Championship. It is Watson Rules, Smooth Rock versus Chef Urban, winning that tournament, earning his shot. We have the FPL American Championship, Alexander McKennedy versus Broken Nerd, who earned that and did beat Jay, so kind of cemented his shot there. And hey, how about I mention right now the one note I've got, BeerMe. Here it is. This match will be a stadium stampede held in Raymond James Stadium. 1-on-1. Though, to be fair, McKennedy does have Honor Club. So who knows what happens. Main reason for this is Broken Nerd is the king of the cinematic matches, and this is a big deal, as McKennedy's coming up on a year as champion. So let's see if he can fend off Broken Nerd at his specialty. Not that it's Stadium Stampede, but it kind of gives us a wide open range to go. It's like an empty arena match, but yeah. What's your thoughts on that? Who do you have on that? We'll do full picks later, but just hearing that note, do you think McKennedy's going to retain yet again, or is Rook or Nerd going to do it?
God, I'm gonna pick McKennedy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm leaning that way too.
Yeah.
I got to be honest. I kind of am leaning that way as well. We're at a point now though where nerds like do or McKennedy's due to lose, if that's even a thing. But you know what I mean, right? Like it's
yeah. I think it's gonna be really close.
Oh yeah,
and I think by hook or by crook he'll pull it out.
I can see that. To complete what I've got here, the FPL Continental Tag Team Championship, as mentioned, La Familia does face the other Strays. It's the other ones compared to who I've mentioned before. They're all the Strays, but it is Sheriff Dog and Michael Marsh for the Tag Team Championship. They did try prior against the Creatures and lost, but can they do it against La Familia? Can they succeed where their two other Strays failed on an Impact show compared to on a Rumble main card? Remains to be seen, but that is a big match. Definitely, they've earned that shot, and they could fulfill a bit of destiny here with that. So very, very intrigued there. And then a bunch of question marks, except we do have Casey Warden versus Eoin the Extraordinary. Ian, forgive me once again. I'll get it right next time. Trust me. That's on the kickoff. We already have a show there. And I believe Casey Warden was actually the one who was in the Ultimate X that did no show, unfortunately. But again, we don't hold against it, so we're going to complete that. The Ultimate X winner versus the person who's supposed to be in it. Casey Warden, I do believe, was the situation. So 1-on-1 on the kickoff. That's a main card match. That could be quick escalation towards Mania and stuff. So there you go. But BeerMe, you have an announcement as well, right, for the Rumble?
I do. I have a match.
Ooh, I didn't even have a match. What do you got?
Of course, the guy that gets through the match is in this match.
So CT.
It will be Jonathan CT Martin taking on Roman Pierce.
Ooh, okay. That's back to clearing the deck like I was talking about. He's trying to take out everybody he can and finish the job, basically. So I'm gonna go with CT on that one. He's just got that experience right now compared to what Roman's got. I think CT's got that win. What do you think?
I'm gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna pick Roman Pierce.
Really?
Now, I don't have any logic in why, but I'm just gonna go with it. Yeah, we'll go with Roman Pierce.
Sounds good. So he'll be, of course, commenting on how bad the hosts are in the show.
Exactly.
Because I didn't praise him enough, and you didn't even pick him. So yeah, as always, it'll be fun.
Yep.
It's good. Good. We love CT for that. CT as a heel is the best. It's so good. I mean, he's not, he's no Escobar, the heel of the year, but he was runner up. So he's gonna hate me for that. That's so good. Don't worry, CT. I didn't win a goddamn thing. But I've got one more thing to mention. Obviously, it is the Rumble. So the Royal Rumble itself, 30 competitors, obviously. Will be in it. We will be doing a draw on War Room next week. So that is the week of like the 16th. There will also be a Trenches, but we're doing a special War Room because what we did last year was we did the draw of all the participants. And how that works is we put it into Wheel the Side, basically, and spin the names. And then whoever comes up, that's the first people in. Now, that's not the order of entry. Hold on. These are the people who are qualified for the Rumble. We then keep going through the rest of the roster just in case people no-show. Last time I think we had like 45, so we kept picking everybody, and I think Junction was last, sadly, or like 50-something maybe. So obviously if you're down toward the bottom, you're not going to be in there, but we will go through the lot just in case, because if people do no-show, you're in. So say, for example, BeerMe, for whatever reason, doesn't get his picks in. Whoever's number 31 is in now, and would be at wherever BeerMe was in the draw. So we'll go to that now. The draw will also record, but not reveal until Rumble night. And how that's going to work is the first person enters, that's their score. The second person, same deal, because it's the same time. And then as you get to third, fourth, fifth, there are point bonuses and how that works. I'm going to get it wrong if I start saying it right now. So please go to our Discord, once again, same link I mentioned, and go down and look at the Royal Rumble stats. Because that's how you actually get in there and how the Royal Rumble works. It might not even be the first 5. Like the first 10 might have nothing, and then it get bonuses from there. But the idea there is, the last person in has a chance to win because they get a bigger bonus. But if you didn't do well, like if I scroll up here and show you Papa Snooch, if Papa Snooch was 30 and he got, say, plus 20, he still only has 27 points. He's probably not winning the Rumble compared to someone who's like, let's say, where'd he go? CM Carlito, who could have been number 1 with 29 points. He still beats him, right? Simple enough. So that's because you're 30 doesn't mean you're going to win. Trust me, I know that. It was me once, and I didn't win. So what we do is we look at the points for how eliminations work, and it goes through all that fun stuff. It's a hell of a lot of fun to write because it kind of forces my hand writing it based on who's actually in it. And what that means is if you have the lowest score, you're the first one eliminated. And if you're number 20, that's going to be a fun Rumble to write because no one's going out until at least you show up. And that's how I try to do it. It's not perfect. I was first one out on purpose because that's kind of a story thing before. I didn't have the worst score. It just worked out timing-wise. So we're not beholden super specifically to it, but at least for the last ones, we try to get those runner-up and type things. And I think CT was 3rd overall, so he lasted over an hour. Saying that, it's almost like I should do by the numbers for the Rumble now that we've had one. Oh, wait, that's in the planning stages. That should be fun. So how do you get in the Rumble? Well, if you are a superstar that's been with us on at least the past 3 out of the 5 main shows, you're eligible. So I can say right off the bat, guys like probably in Extraordinary and those, too new to realistically be on there, unless you were on like Survivor Series, War Games, and Day 1. You're eligible. If that's your most recent 3 of the 5, because stuff happens. We get it. That's at least the bare minimum. I don't want to say that you have to have a profile page because that's 5 appearances and there's been house shows in there, but that's the bare minimum. There will be a post about this as well in case I get something wrong. I usually have a little thing off when I'm saying this, but that's the plan. You got to be at least on 3 of the last 5 main shows. Now, there are people who have been inconsistent that we know will be there kind of thing, so there's that as well. But there's some people who have been with us for a long time that aren't around right now. Lucian Hollis is one name that comes to mind. I'm like, oh man, I wish he was here. He's not going to be on that list unless he's back as a surprise, which there's surprise potential as well. But they're still in the draw. They'll be competitor X. So they might not make it in, and they'll just have a return in another way. That could happen. The other aspect of it, I know this is going to be a thing, and we've thought long and hard about this, and I'll explain why as we go here. As far as for champions and challengers, if you are in a title match at the Royal Rumble, so the world champion obviously wouldn't be in it, but James Costner and Josh Dionio, Smooth Rock and Chef Urban, McKennedy and Nerd, plus Detrick, Alpha, and the Strays, Sheriff Dog and Michael Marsh, they are not eligible for the Rumble. Now, I know what you're thinking, but they're not the world champions. But what if they lose? Like, what if JD loses? Does he get to have a shot? Like, would we put world title loser in there? We talked about that. We went over this. We thought about it. The main reason we're not doing that is after this show, we realistically don't know how many shows are left until Mania. And we did the math on that. We've got the Royal Rumble. We have confirmed 100% Revolution on March 6th. That's AEW. We have a schedule from months ago, before stuff started getting canceled with COVID again, that they were planning probably a Saudi show and something around March for WWE. And of course, Ring of Honor has April 1st. We now know that. April 1st is too late to book stuff for April 2nd and 3rd. So that Ring of Honor show, we're doing Supercard, but it's just going to be like the last bits of stuff to like, the stories are built by that point. So we can't realistically do stuff and have potential storyline and championship contender upheaval based on the fact that a tag champ is now the number 1 contender for the Rumble. If we had more shows, we'd work it. If we knew there was a takeover, if we knew there was like a Saudi show and plus. I know it's not, because I myself was a tag champion back in the JRPL in a Rumble. Like, I retained the tag titles with Lee and entered the Rumble. Like, I get it. I know the history. We've seen this kind of stuff before, but just realistically, it's just cleaner this year. Doesn't mean it'll be every time. Hopefully there's more shows. We know more specifics going on. Officially right now, there's a rumor of a Saudi show late February, and that's about it. There's presumably something in March, but maybe not. We really don't know. So we can't rely on doing shows. We've been through a COVID cancellation period where we had 5 contenders for the Road Warrior title. We don't want to be in that situation for the American title and stuff to find new challengers. So the few shows we have will be setting up those new contenders for Mania. And the contenders we have, I'm sorry guys, if you want to be on Mania, you're pretty well going to need to win the titles because there probably won't be any other defenses after the Rumble. Just because of that. I know that's like a 2-month gap, but it's the 29th to April 3rd. It's all of February and March. That's where the storylines are going to be built. I know it sucks because I like the idea of the potential people who at least didn't win. So like Save La Familia loses, Alpha and Detrick are valid to be possible choices. But the other team, the Strays aren't. I get it, believe me. But it's not like I'm against this idea either because I'm all for it. We are pretty unanimous on this as far as, we are. As far as for why we did it, I get it. I know it's not going to be popular. I know I argued with Bomber back when he was running the JRPL. I said flat out I would give up a mid-card shot for a world title possibility. I said these exact words to him before. I get it, believe me. And he's like, no. But it's not a matter of we're not listening. It's just realistically we can't make it work. And I know people are going to be like, oh, here's how. This is the cleanest way. It's just all or nothing. Sorry, guys. That's what it is this time around. Just win your title matches and you're good. You're going to be champ at Mania defending against whomever comes up. Saudi and March, rather, and that'll be that. So I know it sucks in a certain way. I don't want to dwell on that, but I'm looking forward to the possibility of other people getting these shots because it is a bit divisional as well. Having tag people potentially win the world title, a little awkward too. So not that we're against it. We're not even against the possibility of double champions. I know that's a hot debate for, like, I think some of us are, some of us aren't. I know I have no real problem with it, but it is logjam stuff. It's double duty. It's a mess. But whatever. It's wrestling's fun. How many double belt people do you see right now? It's happening. Impact is on like in 2 hours, and it's title for title with Deanna and Roxy. It's a thing. So if we can make it work, sure. But we're avoiding that at least this time for our second Rumble. It makes it cleaner. Plus, here's the other logistics part, at least that I'm really, really leaning on, is it's easier to know who's going to be in the Rumble instead of waiting to see who wins the matches at the Rumble. And then now we know that, oh, JD's actually in it or not, right? You know what I mean? So there's a bit of that, too, where we just don't even know who's in it until the night. We have to know in advance. We have to know. So, yeah, that's that. That is it. If you are on the roster for 3 of the last 5 main shows and not a champion or contender at the Rumble, you're eligible. So, BeerMe, that's you. That's me.
Yep.
That's Red.
Mm-hmm.
That's CT. Yeah. That's Escobar. That's Luke. What if Luke wins the Rumble and fulfills that destiny? Boyhood dream, right? Like, what if,
very
what if that
possible.
happens? What if you win it by a point?
Oh, man, I'd flip out. But, yeah.
So, yeah. I know I've dwelled on that a lot. I know it's going to come up. People are still going to be commenting on things. I get it. We've had comments about stuff like, why do we just scrap matches afterwards? Why don't we just send the points? Why don't we modify it so it's a different thing? We don't want to be reaching out to 100, close to whatever 100 people saying, hey, redo your picks because Brock's in it now. It doesn't work. We can't realistically do that fairly. We have it just doesn't work. We've got to have certain structure and rules to things, and I know it's not going to be popular, but that's part of how it works. But we're trying to focus on the positive about the fact that these people are in their situations. They've earned their title shots. They're going towards it. Mania is on the line for all of them against potential contenders coming up in the next little bit. And the world title is up for grabs, potentially for everybody else. So I want to focus on the positives of that. But please, I'm not trying to tell people not to comment on it, not to throw ideas at us and whatnot. I can't guarantee that we'll use any of it because we've had debates about this for a while, and, well, here it is. So this is what we're doing. Next year, if we find out there's going to be 5 main shows and we got Ring of Honor anniversary in between, all this stuff, it might be a little different. It might be different that time. We're not set in stone with this, but that's how we're doing it this year, just because we don't even know if they're going to be able to go to Saudi. in a month. They might be canceling that. There's stuff happening. We don't want to suddenly be like, oh, it's Rumble and Mania. Well, poop. Who's our contenders? We don't even have them. So we've got to kind of set it as much as we can now with that in mind. Does that make sense? Did I ramble on? I did ramble on too long about that, but we're good, right?
Yeah. We're good.
Forgive me, everybody. That was a bit of a long one, but I kind of want to cover all the bases with that. But that said, get your promos out there declaring your eligibility for the Rumble. And I'll be that crazy person and say, if you don't want to be in the Rumble, let us know. Because we'd much rather the names be people who want to be in there. Now, I don't know anybody who wouldn't want to be in, but you never know. There could be someone who says, you know what, don't put me in it. I don't want to be in that possibility. Please, let us know. Because we'd much rather someone who wants to be in there be in there. Last time, everybody who was in it was in it. There was no no-shows, so that was good. But just for the sake of it, let us know. And yeah, we'll go from there and see how it goes. And that's at the end of the month, which is, I mean, it's the 13th. It's already getting there quick. It's crazy. But yeah, I think I've rambled far, far too long on this topic. But that is the Royal Rumble. That is the FPL. That is In the Trenches. I think we are good, BeerMe. Did you have anything else you wanted to say here, or should we just wrap this one up before I keep rambling on about the Rumble?
We can just wrap it up. I think we're good to go.
We're good to go. Well, then, thank you, everybody. Again, this is In the Trenches for the FPL Frontline League on Twitter. Frontline Prediction League. As I burp through my awesome ending, it is on this Discord, on this YouTube channel with the Discord in it. I've screwed this whole part up. It was going so smoothly. Frontline League, Frontline Prediction League on YouTube. I almost said Twitter. It's on Facebook. Follow along. Links down below. Go sign up. If you sign up now, you won't be in the Rumble, but you put your picks in, you'll be on the card. At least there'll be that. Like, you'll be on the card. You'll be like Owen, who I say his name wrong, and you still win Ultimate X, and you're focused on a pre-show match on the Rumble. That's how quick it can turn around. You can get in there. You could be in the next year's Rumble getting ready for Mania. You can still have a Mania match. You can still have all these matches. Lots of fun stuff. Please sign up. Like, favorite, subscribe. Hit us up with ideas. We're building Mania as we speak, obviously, from everything I just said. Again, In the Trenches, Frontline Prediction League. Thanks again, everybody. Have a good night.